The Falconwood Files is a feature film for Series 3 of Final Girl where you'll be fighting against Slayer in the town of Falconwood. In this scenario, Slayer inhabits the mirror dimension, which exists alongside our dimension and uses the same location board. Each turn, Slayer will pull victims into the mirror dimension with him and then hunt them down and kill them. The Final Girl can also enter the mirror dimension to try and save victims or attack Slayer. Since he can only be attacked in this other dimension, you'll have to open a rift to the mirror dimension to kill him. Falconwood is a large, sprawling town with very little special rules besides missions. Each game you'll choose one of 5 missions to add to the game, and you'll have to complete the mission before you can remove the killer's final health. Missions generally have you traveling to specific locations on the map, and when you complete the mission, a special friend will join you and you'll get powerful benefits that will help you finish off the killer. In this video, I'll go over the special rules for Slayer and Falconwood, go over each of Falconwood's missions, and finally clarify some commonly misplayed rules and cards. If you want a general overview of how to play Final Girl, then check out my rules video before you watch this one. Set up the location as normal, but set aside the Survive the Hunt Terror card before creating the Terror deck. Select one mission and set the corresponding mission sheet next to the location board for reference, and the rest of the missions can go back in the box. Each mission has a unique setup, and I'll go over each one later in the video when I explain them one by one. But the setup card, item deck, and event deck will set up just like normal. To set up Slayer, place the dimension tracker next to the killer board with the Final Girl token in the top half labeled R dimension. Keep the 3 special victim tokens next to it for later. Then place 1 gray mirror victim in the Final Girl's starting space, 1 mirror victim in the exit space closest to Slayer, and set aside the other 4 gray meeples for use later in the game. Finally, add the 2 Open a Rift action cards to the action tableau. Slayer only exists in a dark, dreary version of our dimension called the Mirror Dimension. Both dimensions use the same location board, and you'll use the dimension tracker to keep track of which dimension the Final Girl and special victims are in. Regular victims in our dimension are represented by the normal yellow victim Meeples, and regular victims in the Mirror Dimension are represented by gray victim Meeples. Slayer can only target and attack victims in the Mirror Dimension, although he can target and attack the Final Girl regardless of which dimension she is in. Victims can be pulled from our dimension into the mirror dimension, and whenever you see this symbol, Slayer will target the closest victim in our dimension and pull them in. This symbol is part of the default killer action on the back of his finale card, so he'll start the game pulling 1 victim into the mirror dimension each killer phase. This symbol never targets the Final Girl, only victims, but not just normal victims, special victims can be targeted too. If Slayer pulls a normal yellow victim, then replace the yellow meeple with a gray one to show they are now in the mirror dimension. If the closest target is instead a special victim, like the blue one here for instance, then move their token on the dimension tracker to the bottom to show they are in the mirror dimension. After a victim has been pulled into the mirror dimension, you immediately panic them according to the panic numbers around their space. This is easy to forget, so remember that victims pulled into the mirror dimension immediately panic. Now if you resolve this symbol and no victims were actually pulled into the mirror dimension, maybe because everyone is already there, then you increase bloodlust instead. And since there's only 6 gray victim meeples, if they're all already on the board and you need another one, then you immediately kill the furthest mirror victim from Slayer and use the freed up gray meeple to pull a yellow victim in. Slayer's default killer action is to pull a victim into the mirror dimension, then target the closest victim or Final Girl and attack. There's no boot, so he won't move. He'll just attack his current space. Slayer only targets and attacks victims in the mirror dimension, and he can also target and attack the Final Girl regardless of which dimension she is in. He completely ignores yellow victims and special victims in our dimension. So let's go through the 3 possible targeting symbols. For this one, Slayer will target the closest victim in the mirror dimension or the Final Girl, whichever is closer. If he's in a space with you and only yellow victims, then he'll ignore the yellow victims and attack you. For this symbol, Slayer will target the Final Girl no matter which dimension she is in. And finally, for this symbol, Slayer will target the closest victim in the mirror dimension. If there are no victims in the mirror dimension, then he'll pull one in instead, so resolve the pull symbol and ignore the rest of that particular killer action. But you still resolve the rest of the terror card after that killer action. During the panic phase, you'll now only panic victims in the mirror dimension when a victim died during the turn, and not yellow victims or anyone else in our dimension. So if Slayer killed this mirror victim, then this other mirror victim will panic and the yellow victim will stay in place. After all, he's safe from Slayer's attacks in our dimension, so there's no reason to panic. The final girl can only attack Slayer when in the same dimension, which is usually the mirror dimension. This includes performing any actions and using items that deal damage. You must be in the mirror dimension. The only exception is reaction cards, so if Slayer attacks you while you're in our dimension, you can use Retaliate and damage him back. To enter the mirror dimension, you'll need to play the new Open a Rift action card. There are 2 copies of Open a Rift in the action tableau, and they cost 2 time to purchase. 2 successes lets you go to the mirror dimension. 1 success is the same thing but costs 1 time, and with a fail you can still go to the mirror dimension, but you'll lose 1 heart and 2 time, or you can do nothing and end the action phase. In all cases, you can bring any special victims on your space with you. Show that you are in the mirror dimension by sliding your token to the lower half of the dimension tracker card. Also slide any tokens for special victims that you are bringing with you. While you are in the mirror dimension, only gray mirror victims will follow you, not the yellow ones. And if you are still in the mirror dimension during upkeep, you'll lose 1 heart. You can choose to come back to our dimension at any time during the action phase, and to show this, you'll slide your token back to the top half of the dimension tracker. You can bring any number of gray mirror victims on your space with you, as well as special victims. When mirror victims return to our dimensions, swap the gray meeples with yellow ones, or move the special victim tokens on the dimension tracker to show this. Whenever gray victims turn back to yellow or get killed, return the gray meeples to the available pool to be reused later. If they were killed, you can use a yellow meeple to track this. While you can return to our dimension at any time during the action phase, you can't do it in the middle of resolving an action card. That's the only restriction. There's some other rules for operating in the 2 dimensions, so let's go over them now. We've already talked about how yellow victims will follow you only in our dimension, and gray victims will follow you only in the mirror dimension. You can only save victims in our dimension, which means you can only save yellow victims when you are in an exit space with them and also in our dimension. Gray mirror victims can't be saved. You'll have to bring them back to our dimension first. Movement works as normal in both dimensions, and you can search in search spaces in both dimensions. In general, tokens on spaces and other location effects apply to both dimensions unless otherwise stated. And if any token or location effect targets a victim, it'll target a victim in our dimension first. And remember that you can only attack Slayer in the mirror dimension, although you can damage him with Retaliate in either dimension. That's it for Slayer, so let's go over the Falconwood rules next. At this time, Falconwood is the largest map in Final Girl with a whopping 24 spaces. Some spaces are connected by bridges. There are 3 bridges and you can cross these with 2 victims as normal. There are no special rules for bridges, but some cards may refer to them. Some spaces are also connected by blue lines called river crossings. There's 6 total river crossings, but normally you and the killer cannot use them. Some cards in the game might allow you to use river crossings, and when this happens, victims can follow you as normal, but enemies still can't use them. The spaces connected by a river crossing are not considered adjacent or connected when determining range or other distances. Falconwood comes with a 20-sided die, and when you see this symbol on cards, you will roll the 20-sided die to see what happens next. The main new addition that Falconwood brings to Final Girl is missions. There are 5 different missions, and you'll choose 1 mission to play during setup. Each mission has a slightly different setup and goal, but generally you'll be traveling around the map collecting tokens which are needed to complete the mission. The main thing to remember is that you cannot remove the killer's final health token until the mission is completed. You may damage the killer when the mission is incomplete, but any damage that would remove the final health token is ignored. If you play Falconwood with other sets that have multiple killers, like the Intruders, then this only applies to the last remaining killer. Once the mission is complete, you'll earn a friend, which is always represented by the orange special victim meeple. Friends are considered special victims with 3 important differences. First, friends will follow you into the killer's space. Second, friends won't panic if they are in your space. And third, other victims in the friend's space will be attacked before the friend is attacked. Each mission gives a different friend, so there are 5 unique friends in Falconwood. Each mission has a mission sheet that lists the name, backstory, additional components needed, setup instructions, and special notes on the front side. The back side of the mission sheet lists the special rules, the rewards for completing it, and defines what gaining progress and losing progress means for this specific mission. There might also be spaces to place tokens as you collect them. Each mission is unique, so let's go over the 5 missions one at a time. Remember that only one will be active during your game, so feel free to come back and use the timestamps to watch the rules for the mission that you're currently playing. And expose the lab. The lab is performing experiments that are endangering Falconwood. It's time to expose what they're doing. The components you'll need are the 6 mission tokens with numbers 1 through 6 on them, the expose the lab reference card, and the reporter. All other friends, mission items, and tokens can go back in the box. To set up this mission, shuffle the 6 mission tokens and randomly stack 3 face down on the government lab space. Set aside the other 3 tokens and place the reporter and reference card next to the play area. The reporter will be one of the rewards when you complete this mission. To start the mission, you first need to reach the government lab. Once there, you will reveal the top mission token and check the number on it. Place the token on the space indicated by that number on the Expose the Lab reference card. For example, this token has the number 2 on it. The reference card has school listed for number 2, so we'll place this token face up at the school. Note that this first clue when you reach the government lab is free and doesn't require any other costs. Only one revealed mission token may be on the board at a time, so returning to the government lab won't reveal another token. What you have to do now is get to the space with the token, end your movement, and discard a search action card to pick up the token and place it on the mission sheet. Then immediately reveal the next mission token at the government lab and place it on the space indicated by the reference card, just like you did with the first. Repeat this process until all 3 tokens are on the mission sheet. To complete the mission, end your movement at the police station and discard all 3 mission tokens from the mission sheet. Place the reporter at the police station and look through the police station's item deck and take 2 items of your choice. Shuffle the remaining items together and place them back at the police station. That's it. Now you've exposed the lab and can kill the killer. Some cards might tell you to gain progress or lose progress on your mission. For Expose the Lab, if you gain progress, then you need 1 less mission token to complete it, and if you lose progress, you'll place a 4th mission token on the government lab and you'll need to retrieve all 4 before going to the police station. In Crack the Code, spies are in Falconwood and communicating in code. Crack the code to foil their plan. The components you'll need are the 6 mission tokens with numbers 1 through 6 on them, the 20-sided die, and the jockette. All other friends, mission items, and tokens can go back in the box. To set up this mission, shuffle the 6 mission tokens and randomly place 1 face down in each of the 6 named spaces that aren't search spaces as shown here. Set the jockette next to the play area, as she will be one of the rewards when you complete this mission. For this mission, when you end your movement on a space with a token, you may spend 1 time to reveal the token and place it on the mission sheet. You only care about the single-digit number on this token, so ignore the rest. If you are at the shopping mall during the action phase, you can try and crack the code. To make an attempt, spend 3 time and roll the 20-sided die. Add the values of all the tokens on the mission sheet to what you rolled. If the total is 20 or greater, then you have successfully cracked the code. If instead the total is less than 20, you've failed and you'll have to try again later. You can try to crack the code at the shopping mall as many times as you like. In fact, if you have enough time, then you can try again immediately, but you can also go collect more tokens first to increase your chance of success. So as an example, if you've collected the 2 and 4 tokens and roll a 10, then the total is 2 plus 4 plus 10, which is 16. Since 16 is less than 20, you fail the mission. If you spend a couple turns and get the 5 token, then when you roll 9, the total will be 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 9, which is exactly 20, and you complete the mission. Once the total is 20 or more, then you successfully cracked the code and completed the mission. Place the jockette at the shopping mall and look through the shopping mall's item deck and take 1 item of your choice. Shuffle the remaining items together and place them back at the shopping mall. Now you've cracked the code and can kill the killer. If you gain progress on this mission, then reveal 1 mission token of your choice on the board and add it to the mission sheet. If you lose progress, then place the highest value token back on the board in the space farthest from you. In Missing Friend, they say your friend died, but it's a lie. Look for clues to find your friend. The components you'll need are the 6 mission tokens with a letter number combination on them, the token reference card, the spellbook mission item, and the best friend. All other friends, mission items, and tokens can go back in the box. To set up this mission, shuffle all 6 mission tokens and randomly place one face down in each of the 6 named spaces that aren't search spaces as shown here. Set the best friend and spellbook item next to the play area. They will be rewards when you complete this mission. Keep the token reference card nearby for reference later. For this mission, when you end your movement on a space with a token, you may spend 1 time to reveal the token and place it on the mission sheet. You only care about the letter number combination on this token, so ignore the rest. The letter will be either A, B, or C, and the number will be 1 or 2. Place the token on the mission sheet corresponding to the letter shown on the token, so this B1 token will go on the B space. If you reveal a token with a letter that has already been placed, then discard the token with no effect. Once all 3 spots are filled on the mission sheet, meaning you have an A token, a B token, and a C token, then you can now figure out where your best friend is. Each token corresponds to a clue on the token reference card, and all 3 clues together will identify a unique space on the board. For instance, A1, B1, and C1 means east of the river, North Falconwood, and first in alphabetical order. Now North and South Falconwood are defined on the mission sheet here. So east of the river and North Falconwood could be the shopping mall, police station, or library. First in alphabetical order means it must be the library. Place the orange meeple on its side on this space. You now have to go revive your best friend. While it's on its side, it will be ignored by enemies and all effects. The meeple is just there to remind you which space they're in. You revive your best friend by discarding any action card that recovers health while on their space, like short rest or long rest. Stand the meeple up and the mission is complete. Take the spellbook mission item into your inventory and reduce the horror level to 0. Now you've found your best friend and can kill the killer. If you gain progress on this mission, then reveal 1 mission token of your choice on the board and add it to the mission sheet. If it's a duplicate letter, then discard it as usual. If you lose progress, then place one of the mission tokens back on the board in the space farthest from you. One final thing to note is the original printing of this film came with misprinted tokens, and this is the only mission affected by it. There are corrected tokens available with instructions on what to do. Basically, the misprinted tokens are all A tokens with A1 through A6. You can still play the mission if you remember that A3 and A4 are supposed to be B1 and B2, and A5 and A6 are supposed to be C1 and C2. Once you replace the tokens and have A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, and C2, you can throw away A3 through A6. In Save Your Father, government officials have imprisoned your father to keep him quiet. Help him escape before he's transported to another prison. The components you'll need are the 9 mission tokens, 6 with the key symbol and 3 blanks this time, and the adopted father. All of their cards, mission items, and tokens could go back in the box. To set up this mission, place the 3 blank tokens face down in your play area and distribute the 6 tokens with keys as follows. 2 face down in the government lab, shopping mall, and best friend's house. Set the adopted father next to the play area. He will be one of the rewards when you complete this mission. For this mission, when you end your movement on a space with tokens, you may discard a search action card to place both tokens face down in your play area, shuffling them with the 3 blank tokens and any others you have collected. Remember that discarding a search card just means discarding it to the play area without any effect, and it'll go back to the action tableau in the planning phase. You aren't removing it from the game completely. Now, once per action phase while at the police station, you can help your father escape by spending 1 time to reveal 1 token from your play area of tokens you've collected. You are attempting to find as many keys as possible before revealing 2 blank tokens. So you keep spending 1 time to reveal 1 token, and if you ever reveal 2 blank tokens, then you fail, and all tokens are turned back face down and the action phase ends. If, however, you haven't revealed 2 blanks yet, then you can choose to stop or spend another time to reveal another token. If you stop before revealing 2 blank tokens, then you make progress on the mission. Take any key tokens revealed and place them on the mission sheet, and then remove any blank tokens revealed from the game completely. The action phase doesn't end in this case, so you can continue your turn as normal. Once you have 3 keys on the mission sheet, you successfully save your father and complete the mission. Place the adopted father at the police station and look through the police station's item deck and take 1 item of your choice. Shuffle the remaining items together and place them back at the police station. Now you've saved your father and can kill the killer. If you gain progress on this mission, then one less key token is required to complete the mission. And if you lose progress, then one more key token is required. For the final mission, Survive the Hunt, secret agents have arrived in Falconwood and they have one mission: to eliminate you. Eliminate them before they get you. Instead of using the mission tokens like the other missions, this time you'll use the 4 agent tokens. The other components you'll need are the Survive the Hunt tarot card, the telekinesis mission item, and the kind scientist. All of their friends, mission items, and tokens can go back in the box. To set up this mission, first set the kind scientist and telekinesis item next to your play area. They will be rewards when you complete this mission. Next, you'll need to set up the tarot deck. Set aside the Survive the Hunt card and shuffle the other tarot cards together. Choose one less than normal, so this will be 9 cards unless you're facing a killer that uses a different amount like Evomorph. From these cards, take the first 7 and shuffle Survive the Hunt in with them. Then take any remaining, which will normally be 2, and put them on the bottom of the deck. In this manner, Survive the Hunt will be one of the top 8 cards of the tarot deck. This mission won't start until the Survive the Hunt tarot card is revealed from the tarot deck. When this happens, place the 4 agent tokens on the board in the following spaces: Town Fair, Shopping Mall, Government Lab, and the Best Friend's House. Agents are not minions, but the rules for attacking them are the same as for attacking minions, meaning you can attack them as a group and damage more than one with a single attack. Agents have 1 health, 2 movement, and an attack value of 2. At the end of the killer phase, each agent performs the following action. They will target the final girl, move toward her, and attack. Remember that enemies never waste an attack, so if they're in a space with a victim and not the final girl, then they will attack the victim. If they end in a space with both types of victims, they will attack yellow victims first. Also, during the panic phase, victims on an agent space will panic. So each turn, the agents will hunt the final girl and move closer to her. Once you've killed all the agents, then you've successfully survived the hunt and completed the mission. Place the kind scientist on your space, take the telekinesis mission item card, recover 3 health, and reduce the horror by 2. Now you've survived the hunt and can kill the killer. If you gain progress on this mission and the hunt has already started, then kill one agent of your choice. If the hunt hasn't started yet, then when it does, only place out 3 of the 4 agents and you choose which to remove. If you lose progress, then agents have an attack value of 3 instead of 2. Well, that's all the 5 missions explained. Remember that you only play with 1 per game and that you can damage the killer throughout the game, but you can't remove their final health until the mission is complete. So that's all the special rules for Slayer and Falconwood. Now I'm going to go over some commonly misplayed rules and cards. I'd say the easiest rule to forget is that victims panic immediately after they enter the mirror dimension. This goes for regular victims and special victims too. Next, some of Slayer's minor dark powers and regular dark powers add an effect to the finale card. Notice it says finale card and not just finale. You add the extra effect to the default killer action on the back of the finale card, and you also add it to the killer action once the finale is flipped and revealed. Next, the pizza delivery vehicle lets 1 additional victim follow you and adds +2 to all of your movement actions, but your first move must be panicked. That means for every action card you play that gives you movement, you must panic the first movement. So if you play a walk, you'll panic your first movement, and if you follow it up with a sprint, then you'll also panic the first movement again. If you roll a number that's not listed as a panic number around your space, then you waste 1 movement but stay where you are. Lastly, I see people asking what to do when they run out of gray meeples. This usually happens when they're putting the gray meeples into the killed pile. If a gray meeple is killed, you should take an unused yellow meeple and put them in the killed pile and add the gray meeple back to the available pool of gray meeples. If you truly have all 6 gray meeples on the board and are supposed to pull another victim into the mirror dimension, then remember that you kill the furthest mirror victim from Slayer and use that meeple to pull the closest victim in. And if all 6 gray victims are on the board and there are no yellow victims at all, when you are told to pull a victim, then you'll increase bloodlust instead. Alright, and that's how you play the Falconwood Files. Let me know in the comments what you think of this feature film and how you'd rate it compared to the others in Series 3. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to me on YouTube. If you want to check out more of my videos, then click the links on the screen and maybe you'll find a new game to play. And with that, Michael Skeleton is out.